Hello and welcome to the Dune Minute Podcast, your place to dive deep into the cinematic adaptations of Frank Herbert's Dune. My name's Zach.
And I'm John.
All right, John, welcome back. We are here with a new week and a new set of minutes. We are talking about minutes 35 through 36 of the movie. And this week starts with Gurney finishing his sentence, and it ends with Thufir greeting Leto.
It does. This week also, in addition to a new week and a new set of minutes, new recording area.
We are in a new location.
Actually, for the next couple weeks, we're going to be in this location.
That's
so
right.
If things sound a little different, apologies. It's starting to get warmer, and Zach's house doesn't do well in warmer temperatures.
It's
not for recording, at least.
My tent in the park is not an adequate recording location for in the summer months in Atlanta. So
yes,
we've switched locations over to John's house. So instead of my living room, we're in John's living room.
We are, but I want to take us to Arrakis.
Ooh, okay, expert segue, love it.
I've been listening to a few podcasts in my day, Zach. Let me tell you. Yes, last week we ended with Gurney saying that his lungs taste something, but we don't know what they were tasting. This week we find out his full sentence. My lungs taste the air of time blown past falling sand. So,
and
what a strange sentence to just open your arrival to a new planet with.
It is. Well, I mean, but Gurney's a poet, so he's reciting something, obviously, and it's a wonderful line. It's very apropos of the moment they are in.
I think it's him recognizing that there is a lot of history on Arrakis, and he's not shit compared to everything else that has gone on. Because with him being the more poetic mind, he feels a need to ground himself in this moment.
Sure.
I did a little research.
It reminds me of the give us a song instead. He's always got a song. He's always got something to say. I love it.
Did a little research into the line itself. Apparently, it's from the Orange Catholic Bible.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought we had talked about how this wasn't the Orange Catholic Bible before.
I don't think we talked about the Orange Catholic Bible before.
Not specifically that, but this book that I remember what it was. I had said that on the Gom Jabbar podcast, they did research into it, and they figured out that this was not the Orange Catholic Bible. It was some other book, and that's the research that I have yet to do.
Yeah, the actual book that he's holding is like a little... It's a book in German that I'm not even going to try and pronounce the name for, but it basically is like a series of theses of like 4 theses on like true Christendom.
Okay.
Or whatever.
Okay.
But that book that he's holding is supposed to represent the Orange Catholic Bible.
Right.
Zach, what is the Orange Catholic Bible?
Well, this is not in my notes right now, so I've not done the proper research on this one. But as best I understand it, it is so this far in the future, the world religions, like various religions, have been kind of mishmashed into one thing.
Yep.
And it is they call it the Orange Catholic Bible. Orange because that is the color of the book that they published it in originally. As best I can remember, that is literally why it's called the Orange Catholic Bible. From just bits and pieces reading the encyclopedia over the time, I believe it is something that is like it is the most widespread like consolidation of religion in this universe.
Mm-hmm.
And if this is something that I'm remembering from the Gom Jabbar podcast, so 2 shout outs, 1 episode.
Yep.
The OC Bible, as it's called,
the OCB,
not Orange County Beach, the Orange Catholic Bible.
No, that's actually what Sublime was thinking about. Was the Orange Catholic Bible.
Yeah, they're way ahead of their time, those guys. for each planet that this Bible was disseminated to, they would have like addendums and like things that tailored the message to the people specifically of that planet. Because if you're thinking about like a world religion, it's one thing to create a religion where you only exist within one world with one, history and environments and all these like planetary things to build on. But if you're starting to have a shared religion across hundreds of different planets, some things are not going to resonate the same on one planet, like planet A, than they would on planet B.
Let's take two planets we've talked about a lot. Caladan and Arrakis.
Right.
Two very different worlds. So
Right,
a desert metaphor will not land nearly as well on Caladan.
Exactly. So they have these like addendums or like rewrites, or I forget exactly what the term is, but that makes it very specific to the place that it's being taught.
Gotcha.
There's a lot more to say about the OC Bible. I think it's a couple pages in the encyclopedia, its entry. So I think we get to see it later on as well. So we'll try to talk a little bit more about it later.
Yeah.
Which is code for I need to go read the book.
Well, and that's fine too, because, I wanted to, just kind of talk about it in broader terms right now, because it will come up a lot more during next week's episodes. Spoilers.
Oh, yes.
I've watched this movie a few times in my life, so I kind of know what's coming up. But the OC Bible is important because, like you said, it does kind of take tens of thousands of years of Earth religions and carries them forward in a weird, like, combined mega book of all religions. I just think it's funny that it's referred to as a Catholic Bible.
Right.
When it pulls stuff from, Buddhism and Hinduism and Islam and Judaism and Zoroastrianism and all these like other religions.
There are stories that I'm half remembering, and I'm not going to say because I don't want to get yelled at, about how everything was like condensed down into one, and like basically like what was chosen, what was not. Fascinating stuff. And it's probably warrants its own like hour or something that we can talk about. But it is.
We gotta write down all these extra hours that we've talked about.
We just, not that I would ever do this to my copy of the encyclopedia, but just like throw a dart at it, and whatever article it lands on, we can just do that.
We'll just tell Google to select like a number between 1 and like 100.
Yeah.
And then just go through the appendix and like whatever number that is. Unless it lands on something boring that we don't want to talk about. And then
well, what's boring in Dune? Nothing's boring in Dune. Especially the next thing that we see in this minute, or here, I guess rather, is the lovely, soothing sounds of a bagpipe.
Quote unquote bagpipe. Because this solo bagpipe that we hear isn't actually a bagpipe. So
in the movie, it is depicted as a bagpipe.
It is depicted as a bagpipe. Zach, I don't know if you know this. Hans Zimmer made the music for Dune.
Yeah. And surely he would just land on one instrument and not change it at all.
No, why would he ever do that? No. So Hans Zimmer, for this solo bagpipe, he works with a lot of different other musicians. Have you ever heard of Guthrie Govan before? You're a guitar player.
I am, but I've not heard the name.
Okay. So Guthrie Govan is...
Did I just lose guitar player cred?
What?
Did I just lose guitar player cred? So I'm going to cut this out if I did.
No, I wouldn't say you lost it. Okay. He's one of those guys that is like... He's a session musician, right? So you know that bass player that has like the super long white beard and he's got like this like super worn down. He's basically that guy, but for guitar.
Okay.
In session music and everything. But Hans Zimmer works with him on a regular basis, and he was just like, "Hey, make your guitar sound like a bagpipe." And then obviously there's a lot of
I
pitch shifting and effects that were made. I think it's cool that like there's experimentation with that in music to make those sounds happen. But my question
Sure.
is, why?
Why not just use a bagpipe?
There are so many talented bagpipe players out there.
Yeah.
You could have just done that. But then the thing is we hear this solo bagpipe for a few seconds and then a larger ensemble of bagpipes come in. All of those are actual bagpipe players.
Okay, so it's just the lead
It's
one.
just that one lead solo for a couple seconds. But it's just like, why? Like you could have just had a regular individual bagpipe player do his thing and then the rest of the ensemble comes in. Maybe it's just a little bit of I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine, as far as like some royalties or whatever are concerned.
Well,
who knows?
If it's not a monetary thing, it could just be one of those things that's movie magic.
Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
But fun little fact: that solo bagpipe you hear is not a bagpipe; it's an electric guitar.
All right.
Also, for any guitar players out there, I believe Charvel just released a Guthrie Govan signature model a couple months ago. It's a pretty cool looking guitar.
One thing that I made sure to note after we hear the bagpipe is we get another big ass carpet. Another huge ass rug.
Okay, I want to talk about the rug.
These rich assholes got all the rug money on. I was about to say on Earth, not on Earth, on Caladan and Arrakis.
On Caladan, Arrakis, and or other planets. Yeah, no, I have a note in here specifically about that is a huge rug. Where the fuck did it come from? Why wasn't it there when the ship landed? How many people did they have carry this rug out?
Yeah. John, you are a homeowner. We are in your home. You have a number of rugs. They are not cheap.
No, they're not. And my cat likes to throw up on them often.
That's sous la vue, as they say.
But yeah, no, there's massive rugs because why not?
Yeah. So they start to exit the ship. Well, sorry. We get a reverse shot of all the people inside the ship first.
We do, and we get confirmation that was Landville. Last week we talked about was the shield guy at Landville.
Yep.
It is.
Cool.
I went, looked up the scene on IMDb. Landville is there.
Nice.
So,
all right. Well, the Landville continuity continues.
He's important.
He's probably the most frequent background character that we've seen so far.
So far, we've had him in 2 different scenes.
Yeah, and he's got a couple more coming up too. So
yep,
cool.
So,
yeah. So Gurney. So as we get that reverse shot of the people that are in the ship, we kind of see like rows of soldiers, and it's a little bit. It's not exactly in focus. I think the focus is more on the bagpipe player who's walking down the ramp.
Yeah.
And but you can still make out who's who for the people that we know anyways. So we see Gurney standing right in front of Leto and Jessica.
He is the first of the Atreides, I guess, most close-knit.
Yeah.
Well, he's not the first because we already knew that Duncan and Thufir were coming to Arrakis ahead of them. But from the ship,
on the ship he is.
He is the first to step onto Arrakis.
I don't know if this is something that is on purpose or what, but doing this minute by minute and we watch it second by second, some things are stand out to us that might not be caught in a casual watch.
Mm-hmm.
Paul is standing a fair distance away from Gurney protecting Leto and Jessica.
Yeah. He's
like,
kind of off like doing his own thing almost.
Yeah. I mean, more than an arm's distance away, not like crazy far away, but definitely more like out of the little sphere of protection that Gurney would have been able to provide them.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just teenage bravado that is, causing him to be like, I don't want to stand with my mom and dad.
Honestly, it could have just been a directorial decision to show, like, it's easier to show everyone kind of lined up that way instead of, all right, crumple up like you're actually. But Paul isn't not protected. he is surrounded by other
Oh,
Atreides,
for sure. It's just,
Atreides soldiers and everything. But you would think that like
they
Leto would
keep
want
them. Yeah,
Gurney.
they'd keep him real close, or like behind him even.
Yeah.
So the rest of the band starts to play, and the family starts to disembark the ship. Did you notice? And this is here for a split second. Did you notice that Gurney stops,
turns around, reaches out,
yeah,
holds his hand out for Jessica to,
Yep.
yeah. What a gentleman!
What a gentleman! And I don't. This is like talking way into the future of the movies and the books. There is a special like bond between Jessica and Gurney that we see later, like way on in the books. And I don't know if this is just if this was like literally a split second nod to that. I don't even know if they're going to bring it up in the movies at all, but it would be something that was like a cool moment as someone who knows the history of those two characters.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's really nice. I'm sure he was just being a gentleman, but it's still a cool thing to see.
I think that's there for the people that know.
Yeah.
And otherwise, like, you see it and it's just like, oh yeah, he's a knight helping a lady.
Yeah, right.
Like that's what the masses would have understood that as. Speaking of knights, we do see a really cool side shot profile image of Paul kind of looking down as he's walking down the ramp. He's surrounded by more of the Atreides soldiers, and I feel vindicated in my assessment of the Atreides soldiers' armor from last week.
Okay.
Because the helmets look very Uruk-hai.
Okay.
Minus the like the fan across the top of the head, but like the way that like it kind of structures around the face and everything like that. It looks very Uruk-hai, and I'm standing by my assessment from last week.
All right. Fair enough. I did have a note on the guards. We get to see the kinjal, so the sword.
Yes.
That we got a little glimpse of earlier when in the training scene. We get to see what it looks like in the full getup.
We do, and they're wearing it especially high.
Yeah, like it's not a long sword, so
it's not, but it's funny to see it kind of in that mid torso. Like you can tell that the hilt is mid torso rather than waist height.
Yeah.
But to your point, with it not being as long, it's probably just easier to draw when it's that high or whatever. And
sure, easy, quick on defense, slow on attack.
Yeah.
I did notice that some of them are in helmets. Some of them are in their Imperial Star Wars hats that we mentioned last week.
Lanville being one of the ones in the Imperial Star Wars hat. Yep.
Then we cut to kind of a reverse shot of the family walking away. And we get to see exactly how fucking long Jessica's dress is.
Yeah.
It takes at least two of her aides who are dressed the same way.
She's got four handmaidens.
Four handmaids there. They are dressed in similar getup that she is. And they're basically, at least two of them's only task is to carry this
keep
train.
This long ass shawl.
Yeah, carry the train that's behind her and make sure it's not blowing in the wind too much. It's ridiculously long.
It's also windy as shit right now, and practically speaking, compared to like what windstorms on Arrakis are actually like, this is just a light breeze,
right?
Because I think we talked about it week 2, how like Arrakis can have windstorms up to several hundred miles an hour.
Oh yeah, and the Coriolis storms, are crazy.
We also see a really cool shot of Paul kind of looking off as he's walking down the ramp. He's looking off to his right, and we see more of the ships descending. We see more of the troops descending and stuff on the planet. Make no mistake, the Atreides, even though they're the quote unquote good guys, are a
authoritarian.
No, occupying army. Is what I had noted here.
Okay, yeah.
There are hundreds, if not thousands, of them.
Yep.
We do. Speaking of Jessica, though, we do see more detail on her headdress and everything. A lot more of the ornate, fancy jewelry and everything. It's a cool look. It's very unique, I think, to her character.
Yeah.
It's still it's like it's inspired by Bene Gesserit veils and stuff, but it's also kind of her own thing.
Yep.
Um,
then we see Paul start to run forward
to our best friend,
our
Thufir
good
Hawat.
guy, the good guy, and he goes Thufir Hawat, and we have some friends that we always greet in this way. I love a good first name last name.
Yep. One of those friends we'll hopefully have on this podcast soon. So
hopefully, Then Paul gets the young master from Thufir, and asked him how does it feel to be on a new world, which confirms an earlier suspicion that this is Paul's first time off.
Paul's
world.
never left Caladan.
Never left Caladan.
Yeah.
So he's brand new to all of this, and then he says, "Exciting to say the least." Which I was like, "All right, come on, you could say some better words than that." I was like, "Yeah, come on, dude."
One thing we see in that moment too, as Paul is embracing Thufir, we see Paul's wearing his shield generator on his wrist, but he never actually turned it on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so there's a shot where the camera is behind Thufir. You see Paul's arm kind of reach around him as he's giving him this hug. Yeah. And you see the generator on his wrist.
He just never turned it on.
No.
All right, man.
Look, he's 16. He's invincible. Nothing in the world can hurt him ever.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Why would he ever get hurt by anything?
Then we get Thufir starting to say "my," and that's when our minute ends. So what's he saying? You want to take some bets? Oh, I mean, we both know.
I mean, yeah.
We gets one of the few minutes that gets cut off right in the middle of a sentence.
Yep.
So he says "my"
something.
And that's it. Yep.
Guess we'll have to talk about that one tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll pick right back up here. Yeah, good minute, man. This is a lot of excitement. I'm glad you got the clarification on the book that Gurney was reading.
Yep.
This is exciting stuff. We're officially on Arrakis now.
I would say we were officially on Arrakis last week.
Yeah, but they had not stepped foot yet.
Okay.
They were still on the ships. So now we've got boots on the ground in Arrakis. So this is the start of that chapter in the whole story. So I'm looking forward to exploring it more.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun week. Hope you guys all come back tomorrow. You can reach out to us by good old fashioned email at duneminute@gmail.com. You can also find us on Twitter at Dune Minute, or reach out to us on Instagram at the Dune Minute.
That's right. So we'll be back tomorrow to talk about minutes 36 through 37 on the Dune Minute podcast.
We'll see you then.
See ya.